Welcome into Week 5, folks. Matt Sabatis here. Looking forward to spending the next half hour with you. This week, we have our usual sit-down with football head coach Shane Richardson. We have a special recap of the recent Military Appreciation Night at Grace B. Johnson Stadium. And we bring in our last pair of teammates from the fall season for the Teammate Challenge. Plenty to talk about, plenty to get to. So, as usual, let's not waste any time and start with football, taking on Catawba College.
It was the return of former Braves quarterback Pat O'Brien, and the Indians got going fast. After an opening drive field goal and a Braves punt, O'Brien found Gavin Rose here, slipping through a trio of defenders for the first touchdown of the game to put Catawba up 10-0. It took the Braves a couple of drives to find their rhythm, and this was a good play to kickstart it. Josh Sheridan miraculously staying up, going 33 yards for the score. Let's watch that one again. Michael Peppers had Sheridan wrapped, but you can see that knee never touches the ground. Sheridan picks up his second touchdown of the year, but the Braves missed the PAT. Next series, Braves defense continues to put on the pressure. O'Brien lobs it directly into the hands of Sean Everett, Everett's second pick of the year. Braves only held to a field goal, but they trail by only one. Following that pick, though, O'Brien settled in, throwing two quality passes, one here to his running back, Kenyatta Green, and another here to Jordan Osinski. That made it 24-9 at the half, giving the Braves another hill to climb at Grace B. Johnson Stadium. But after a back-and-forth third quarter, the Indians' defense finally pulled away. This is Chris Page taking it all the way for the 65-yard pick six. Braves fall 41-9. Here's what Coach Shane Richardson had to say post-game.
Obviously not the result that anyone's looking for tonight. Catawba's a very good team, and we knew they were going to be good coming in. I thought we had a lot of really good things going in the first half. There was a little bit of a wave that we needed to ride a little bit, but I thought guys were in tune, and I thought we executed a lot of really good things. I thought, we kind of made some inopportune mistakes and had some penalties. Obviously, can't throw 3 interceptions. We need to take care of the ball better. We're not very good on third down right now offensively. We got to be better there. It just took us a little while to figure out defensively just kind of what to do there. And, they kind of wore us down a little bit, and they were good up front. And, right now our offensive line, we need to be just a little more stout in there and make sure that we're coaching those guys to be better, to give us a chance there offensively. But, I'm proud of the way that our guys fight. I'm proud of their attitude. I really like the attitude of our team. And, no one's satisfied with, how this thing turned out, but we're going to take it one day at a time and make sure that we rebound from this. You look at our O-line, and, we're banged up a little bit and we're young, things aren't going to go how you envision them all the time, and so you got to just continue to work with them and stay positive and make sure everybody continues to regroup and tries to stay together on it.
Braves fall to 1-2 on the season. They'll try to find their stride later today at Grace P. Johnson Stadium. 7 o'clock kickoff against Tusculum College here on the UNCP Sports Network. Head to uncpbraves.com to catch it live. Moving on, turning to volleyball. It's been a rough week for the Braves, dropping their Peach Belt Conference opener in 3 sets to Lander. They didn't fare much better at Augusta either. After taking the second set of the match, Augusta took the final 2 sets to finish it off. Braves need a little bit of lifeblood in the conference, and they'll try later today at Lumbee Guarantee Bank Court against Georgia College at 2 o'clock. Head to uncpbraves.com to watch the match. Lastly, for today at least, soccer, coming off of their razor-thin close win against Anderson last week, kept the road trip going against Belmont Abbey. And it was looking to potentially stay just as close. Belmont's Allison Elliott, though, took a rebound off of Gina Ryan into the back of the net in the 43rd minute. The Braves just weren't able to regroup. Elliott scored again just a minute later to put the Knights up 2-0. The Braves couldn't find a proper opening until the 85th minute with Alexis Pittman from the left side of the goal, but that was it. The Braves fall to 2-2 on the season, and they don't have an easy road as the Peach Belt Conference season gets started. 1 p.m. kickoff later today between the Braves and the number 2 ranked Columbus State Cougars. You can follow the stats live at uncpbraves.com. Coming up, we have our weekly visit with head football coach Shane Richardson and week 4 of the Teammate Challenge. So keep it here on the UNCP Sports Network.
Brave Nation is about to commence. Rewards, event times, and the Brave Nation student section, it all lives here. Download hashtag Brave Nation for free, fill out your full user profile, check in from your Brave Nation section seat, and start redeeming swag. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on important Brave Nation information. Download the app, fill out your profile, be loud in the Brave Nation student section, and get rewarded.
All right, Coach. Well, first things first, you brought up in postgame how a rough game like that against Catawba is a learning experience for a lot of the freshmen, the redshirt freshmen you have on your team. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, well, I think Catawba's a mature team, and I think we saw a very, very good performance by them on Saturday night, and our guys, I think, continually need all of the different scenarios that they can get to continue to learn and grow from. And so when you face a big physical offensive and defensive line like they had, that it really starts up front. And, I think we experienced that on both sides. You've got a lot of good skill guys all around on their team. And, I think all over is a physical game for us. And guys were certainly, sore afterwards. And I think it was a good football team that we played. And I think just going along with that, you just see good competition and a very high-quality football team that you play against.
Well, Coach, obviously you say it's in the front line, starts up front, and there's been a necessity for a lot of swapping between the O-line. There's been injuries. There's been a lot of young guys in general. I believe it was 4 starting O-linemen on Saturday were freshmen, and then you had the 1 sophomore. Even with all the swapping, what sort of improvements have you seen from your O-line just as a unit? Not the starters you put out on Saturday, not whoever's going to be starting coming later today, but just as a whole unit, what have you been seeing improvement-wise?
Yeah, I think, a couple of fundamentals that we like to stress in the O-line is that we're going to stay on blocks, and we're going to make sure that we get in great position and, fight with our hands and our feet and try to have good pad level and making sure that we're staying on the blocks as long as we can. And we just want to see those guys finish full speed to the whistle. And so, if they end up getting off their blocks, or something happens where the ball breaks or, the ball's away from them, then we want to see them sprinting to the pile and going and getting in on, something and finding work and not just standing around. And so, I think a couple of those things we're seeing more and more. And, with effort like that, you can, start closing the gap a lot quicker.
And especially at this level, that's just something that comes with time and experience for these young guys. Mm-hmm. One last question about the game on Saturday against Catawba, and hopefully this will be the last time you have to hear about it, but Pat O'Brien, do you think the fact that he was a former player of yours and had so much experience practicing against your defense, do you think that contributed to the outcome of the game?
I don't know about that. I think Pat did a great job. I think his performance was very solid. But I also think that there were a lot of weapons around him. I think, they protected him very well, and I think he had time back there a little bit. We only had 1 sack, I believe, and, I think the overall offense, did a great job against our defense. And so, that could have contributed a little bit. I think he probably had a comfortability, maybe more than anything. But, I think just with our group, what we saw from our defense was we were just 1 step behind. We were 1 mental lapse, just off, and just kind of, here and there is 1 executional thing that made the difference and 1 guy out of position. So when you play against really good, high-quality teams, you can't afford to make mistakes like that, and they will expose you. And so that's kind of what happened.
Well, looking ahead to Tusculum, what's the preliminary game plan as it stands? Because we're talking about experience a lot today. Tusculum's a team that has a lot of juniors and seniors that have spent their entire careers with the Pioneers, so it's going to be an interesting battle there.
Yeah, I think they're also going to be a very good football team that comes in here on Saturday night, and so the schedule does not get easier. I think that's just the nature of the beast, and I look forward to that because I want to see what type of character we have in our team. And I challenged our guys with that, with the message Saturday night after the game, in the locker room, and said, we're going to need to answer some questions here. And I think it's good for our guys to be able to be in these positions. The team that we've had, the last couple of years, and if you remember, I've been a part of a 2-8 season, and then a 6-4 season, and then a 10-2 season.
Yeah.
And so, how do you eat an elephant, Matt?
One bite at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, nobody's cashing this thing in, and we're going to do a great job of just keeping guys positive and making sure that they're learning and growing and executing one play at a time, one day at a time.
Talking about one play at a time, one day at a time, we've always been watching the progression of Dom Sampson moving in through 3 weeks now. Hit his first rough patch as a college starter.
Yeah.
What improvements have you been seeing him make from that rough patch?
Well, I really like just his response to everything.
Yeah.
And, he threw 3 interceptions. He had a fumble on a critical 4th down play that we thought we could have had a good conversion on.
Yeah.
Thing about Dom is I don't think he gets rattled very easily.
It hasn't been looking that way, that's for
and
sure.
So I think, with this game, with a little adversity coming his way, you still did not see that. And I think, I don't know if that's necessarily an improvement, but I look at that and say that's something that we can really
it's a quality
work with.
piece to start
Yeah,
from, that's for sure.
It's something we can really build on and go forward with. And I think it's a great, value that he brings to have that, in his personality.
What would be his next step, you think? Something that he hasn't fully reached yet, but
I
needs to
think,
reach.
and I guess maybe going back to the last question along with this one is, he needs to get better at ball handling skills. He's got to be able to handle snaps, and he's got to be able to just maybe make his progression downfield a little bit better. He's got to be a little bit more accurate with his deeper throws. Got to be able to put a little more zip on the ball, and that type of thing. But he's still got to, see defenses and check coverages and check protections and, all that kind of stuff. And
there's
so,
a lot to process before each snap.
And so I think all of that stuff continues to get better and better as we go on each week with him.
When talking about defenses, obviously you're one of the most defensive-minded coaches, at least I've met personally. You guys have had at least one turnover each game. Most of the time, it's been an interception. Sean Everett picked one up the other day. What have you been seeing the most from your secondary?
Well, I think they're gaining confidence in the back end, and I think coming out game 1 versus Winston-Salem, they were kind of, it was a little bit of a shock to the system. I think some guys kind of looked at that game and thought, wow, this is college football because there's a lot of young guys back there.
Yeah.
And now I think they're starting to just understand that they can go out there and play with these guys that we go up against, and now they just got to put it together. They got to be able to confidently perform all the responsibilities we're asking out of them, and so they just got to continue to battle in there physically and do a great job of mentally coming along and sticking to the plan and making sure that they're trying to execute, play in and play out.
With how much of an aura of confidence you give off, Coach, I feel like I think they'll be fine with that.
I appreciate that.
We don't get much time for this one, but we've got the Teammate Challenge coming up next. We thank you for joining us. Stick around right here on the Black and Gold Report. Back in on the Black and Gold Report, Matt Sabatas here with you, and it's time now for one of our most favorite segments in our young season. It's the Teammate Challenge. We've already gone through 3 different fall sports: volleyball, cross country, and football. Now it's time for women's soccer. We've got a pair of women's soccer players with our reporter Trevor Williams right now, and let's hand it off. Trevor?
Well, thank you, Matt. It is another round of the Teammate Challenge, a very fun game that has brought some big-time results here to the Black and Gold Report. Big-time results for a couple teams. One team has not done so well, and that's the poor Martin Twins with just one correct answer their last time out. But now the student-athletes are asking for their chance to compete. Soccer, no different. The 2 that we'll have on today, they called their own shot. They wanted the opportunity today at the Teammate Challenge. Let's take a look at the rules if you've never seen the Teammate Challenge before. 2 student-athletes from each of the fall sports in here to compete for their respective teams. They're going to write down answers to my questions as quickly as they possibly can. It is 1 point for every matching answer. The goal to match as many questions as possible in 90 seconds, and the 2 highest scoring duos returning to play for the championship. And that begs the question of who are the highest scoring duos right now. It's a tie atop the leaderboard. We know those Martin twins are out, but Casey Bell and Michaela Elliott, who were the inaugural teammates on the Teammate Challenge, they got 5 correct. They are from that volleyball team, as we said. Then football's Khalil Vance and Alpha Lamine tied it up last week with 5 of their own. So now today, trying to break the tie, it is Kristina Stevenson and Stacey Scott from soccer. Without further ado, let's see how they do here on the Teammate Challenge. Okay, we got Stacey and Kristina in here for the Teammate Challenge. Now, you guys called for this. You wanted your chance here. You got 5 as the score to beat right now, so we're going to see how you guys can do. Are we all ready?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Here we go. Your time starts right now. All right, the first question, who is the bigger procrastinator when packing for a road trip? See what you guys got. Who's the procrastinator? Kristina, yes, correct. Okay. Whose antics are most likely to get them into trouble first? You guys like to mess around. We've heard. Let's see the answer. No, you guys disagree. One says Kristina, one says Stacey.
Oh my God!
What is Stacey's favorite social media app? Holding those boards kind of close. Can't tell if they're cheating. Let's see. No, one says Snap and one says Instagram. Where did you guys first meet? One right now. You got to beat the cross country guys right now. Tied up. First time you guys met. A lot of focus. Let's see. Yep, turn around. And elementary, going way back. What is Kristina's birthday?
Oh my God, yes. I knew this one.
They came in ready for this. Yes, there we go. October 22nd. Coach Padilla, you guys go way back. How many goals did she score during her Pembroke career as a player? Boom. Okay, 10 goals. You guys had that. Who is more nervous before a game between the two?
Mine
Rolled on
so
their
bad.
last 3. Yes, you guys agree on that. What is Stacey's middle name?
Kristina, you know this? You know this?
We're under 10 seconds.
12 years?
Shantae, they got it. Okay, who is the better singer? It's Stacey. Yes. Okay, and you guys already had the lead. That's up to 7, and that is your time at 7.
God. Oh my God.
Way to go! You guys take the lead on the board.
Years.
There's a tie and the team's behind you, but you guys don't have to worry. You're up into first place. I heard there's a handshake that you guys have.
Oh, there might be a.
Yeah, we gotta see the handshake. Let's see the handshake. They're gonna lose the mics because apparently this gets dangerous. Let's see this teammate handshake for the first place team in the Teammate Challenge. Awesome, there you go. So now it's a tie for second on the Teammate Challenge. Stacey and Kristina take over first with their 7 correct answers. We're going to have to tie break Alpha and Khalil along with Casey and Michaela next week on the Black and Gold Report. And boy, I think that is going to be a tough contest to see who can get into the championship round against soccer.
Well, thank you, Trevor, and thank you, Stacey and Kristina. When we come back, we've got a very special segment put together by Trevor about the recent Military Appreciation Night at Grace P. Johnson Stadium. You don't want to miss this, folks. Stick around right here on the UNCP Sports Network. Back in on the UNCP Sports Network, Matt Savadas. It's the final segment of the Black and Gold Report, but we've got a special one right now. Jack Slavin, our friend in the athletic department, and Trevor Williams, our reporter, were recently in touch with the Military Appreciation Night and a great organization called TAPS a couple of weekends ago at Grace P. Johnson Stadium. You want to see how things turned out in the field house. Let's hand it over to Trevor.
This first game is Military Appreciation Night. You will actually, as a team, have the opportunity to engage a little bit more, to actually play for something bigger than just your name or your family's name or the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. You are now getting the opportunity to represent a life of our fallen hero from our U.S. military. We are a family here at Pembroke. For this evening's game, our family also includes the United States military and the ones that we've lost.
My name is Quadra Williams, and I'm a captain at UNCP football. And I had an honor and privilege of playing for Joshua Dees. I feel like him coming from about the same community I came from, his family being from Rayford, me being from Lombard, we really had a good connection. And I really had a good talk with his family after the game. We talked about 45 minutes and the interaction was great.
When you lose a loved one, whether it's the military or whatever, as a mother, my thought in losing a child is that you don't want people to forget about him. You don't want people to forget about the service that was given to this great nation. And the fact that Pembroke remembers him, and that the young people here, Josh was 25 when he died, the young people here are the embodiment of the energy that he had at that time.
My name is Chris Potch, captain of North Carolina Pembroke football team. I represented Staff Sergeant M. Finger. The most memorable moment that I had was before the coin toss, when I got to meet the family, and I showed them that I was representing their father with the JE initials on the back of my helmet, and their eyes lit up.
My name is Alpha Lamine. I'm a captain here at UNCP football. I represented Staff Sergeant Darius Dawson. It was just a great honor to represent one of our fallen heroes. You know, I just connected with the kids, great. They were just so excited after, even though we lost the game, they saw the initials on my helmet, and they just came up to me and just told me, I saw you run them down, or run it back down. It was just so exciting.
I'm Tyler Hinton, captain of the UNCP football team, and I played for Staff Sergeant Todd Alexander. This experience was really meaningful to me because, being able to play with Todd's initials on my helmet, it meant a lot to know that in the game I was representing something bigger than myself, somebody who, died to protect our country. So that meant a lot to me.
It was huge. It was a great deal for me to come back here all together, but to come back here and for them to honor my dad meant more than anything to me. It's nice to see his picture up there. I don't get to see it very often, so not only did I get to see it, but all of my brave family got to see it too.
Well, thank you, Trevor, and thank you, Jack Slavin, for putting that together. A fantastic event at Grace P. Johnson Stadium. That's going to do it for us here on the Black and Gold Report, folks. We'd like to thank head coach Shane Richardson, as always, for joining us. We'd also like to thank Stacey and Kristina from the soccer team for participating in our Teammate Challenge. Next week, we've got some tiebreakers incoming from that Teammate Challenge, and as always, we'll sit down with head coach Shane Richardson once again. Make sure not to miss us next week, but for now, we got to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us right here on the Black and Gold Report on the UNCP Sports Network.